I still remember the sting of her text. $2,900 each for Frank's bash. Send it by Friday. No greeting, no warmth, just a cold demand, like I was a bank account with her DNA. A week before, I sat alone in my dim apartment. One slice of stale cake, one flickering candle, no texts, no calls, nothing from Mom, not a peep from Frank, not even a stray emoji from the family chat. When I reached out to her, she replied hours later, "It's just a birthday. Stop being dramatic." Those words sliced deeper than absence. I stayed at my phone for 10 minutes, fingers frozen, torn between rage and vanishing. But instead of crumbling, I laughed. Not from joy, from clarity. That moment, something in me shifted. Not bitter, but razor sharp. You don't see it when you're always the one holding things together, the mediator, the problem solver, the giver. When Dad died, I was 13. Frank was 10. Mom drowned in sorrow. I stepped up, learned to cook, paid bills, got a job at 16. I was grown before I had a driver's license. Frank? He broke a plate and sobbed. Mom called him fragile, too delicate to push. She cradled him like porcelain. I was steel. I didn't get sheltered. I got leaned on. I told myself love was enough. That was my first error. The signs were always there. Frank's parties had live bands and top-shelf liquor. Mine had silence. He totaled 2 cars, and Mom sent him cash both times. I missed one rent payment, and she lectured me on accountability. At holidays, they saved a chair for him. I brought pie, got no thanks. I swallowed it, called myself petty, oversensitive. Until that birthday. Until that text. That was when I stopped begging for love from people who saw me as a means to an end. I didn't reply immediately. I waited. 3 days later, she texted again. "Did you send the money? Frank's reserving a penthouse in Miami. It's urgent." I sent $1 and a note. Consider this symbolic. The real gift's coming. No response. That night, a package hit her doorstep. I knew the exact second it arrived. Thanks to the tracker I'd slipped inside. At 7:42 p.m., she opened it. At 7:44 p.m., she gasped. I knew what would hit her hardest. Not shouting, not tears, but evidence. Inside was a paper trail, bank statements, transaction logs, and one forged signature, Hayes. While Frank partied and floundered upward, I'd studied finance, tax law. I had access to Dad's old files. Turns out, Frank had been siphoning money from Dad's dormant business account, one that needed Mom's co-signature to access. There it was, documented, how enabling him to bleed it dry over years. And that account, it was under IRS scrutiny. I'd sent a detailed, anonymous tip with timestamps 2 days before her $2,900 demand. You'd think that was enough. It wasn't. This wasn't just about cash. It was about being invisible. I wanted her to see me. Since she wouldn't, I showed her consequences. I'd learned she'd applied for a home refinancing loan, using the house as collateral. But I knew something she didn't. Dad had left me half the deed in a sealed envelope I only opened post-birthday. She'd forged my signature there too. So, I called the bank, not as her daughter, but as co-owner. Said I never signed anything. Loan halted, credit crashed, refinancing denied, house flagged for legal review. The next day, she called. Not to beg forgiveness, to hiss threats. You think you're clever? You think tearing down your family makes you superior? I stayed silent. Then I said, "You erased me." I just mirrored it with interest. She hung up. Frank called next, playing the wounded card. Said he was just scraping by. Mom needed help. I texted back, "Pawn your watch or skip the champagne. My M is tough." Blocked. 2 weeks later, the house was tangled in litigation. Her name was caught in 2 investigations. Frank's accounts were locked pending proof of funds. I watched from afar. Not triumphant, not shattered, just awake. I walked through the wreckage of their arrogance. Like a survivor stepping off a battlefield, still breathing, transformed. People think revenge is loud, messy, all fire and fury. They are mistaken. Revenge is quiet. It's calculated. It's handing someone a rope and letting them knot it themselves. I didn't want apologies. I didn't need justice. I needed peace. And peace comes when you realize you were never the villain for standing tall. You were just the one who stopped playing invisible. So no, I didn't grow up. I woke up, and the version of me they buried under years of disregard. She's not just alive. She's unstoppable.